Over the past year, grandparents have lost over $46 million to the Grandparent Scam. Now that's compared to $26 million the year before, according to the Federal Trade Commission. These scammers are experts at impersonating people they've never even met, and they're amazing manipulators. Here is what usually happens. You get a phone call or an email unexpectedly from someone claiming to be a close relative, and they say it's an emergency and they ask you to send money right away. You may notice that the voice of the relative doesn't sound the way you remember, and the caller will say something like, "Well, I've been in a car accident," or "I've broken my nose," or "I can't stop crying. That's why my voice might not sound exactly as you remember." Scammers do their homework. They will look at your social media accounts. They will look into your email contacts. They'll even source old obituaries to see if they can find out any kind of information about your relatives. And they'll use that during the course of the conversation to try to convince you that what they're telling you is the truth. So be very careful what you post on social media, because these scammers can use whatever is in the public domain to try to defraud you and your relatives. And remember, the more they know about you and the more information you put out on social media, the easier it's going to be for them to convince you that they're actually who they say they are. So be very, very careful. Many times, these crooks will call in the middle of the night because they'll hope to wake you up so that you can't even think straight. They also do that so that you think twice about contacting other people to authenticate their stories. This is how a typical conversation begins. "Hi, Grandma." Now, that's just assuming that you actually have a grandson. And when you say, "Oh, is that you, David?" Of course, the scammer says, "Yes, Grandma, it's me." They can be very convincing. And remember, that's their job. If you receive one of these phone calls, there are a few things that you should do. Number one, don't act right away, no matter how dramatic the story is. Number two, never confirm who you are. Don't give any information. Don't give them your name, your address, nothing that they can use in the future to try to convince you of anything else. If you're worried that this might be a true emergency, ask them something personal that only your relative would know. Ask them what the name of their pet is. Ask them what their mother's first name is. Something that nobody else would know that would allow you to confirm that the caller is really who they say they are. Remember, these guys are imposters, and they will do everything in their power to convince you that they are the real deal. Hang up the phone and text or call the person who you're supposed to be talking to, or call a relative so that you can confirm the story. If you're really, really worried, keep calling until you get in touch with somebody. And never give them any personal information over the telephone. Don't give them your banking account numbers, your social security numbers, numbers of credit cards. Keep it all to yourself. And no matter what else you do, don't ever send cash, don't wire money, don't send a bank transfer, don't send a credit card with the PIN code numbers. Check to see if the emergency is authentic. And spread the word. Don't assume that people know about this. Warn your friends, warn your relatives. You can save them a lot of grief and heartache. And let trust and double check be your motto. Be senior smart, and see you in cyberspace.